Healing in Throne of Liberty is pretty much the same throughout every MMO or every game that has a healer. Your job is to support the team, heal the team, shield the team, whatever you need to do. However, the abilities in this game kind of function a little bit differently. Most of the healing that you have in your kit cannot be used on yourself. A lot of the single target abilities can only be used on the person you're aiming at. This means that when you're playing healer, you're gonna have to have a lot more foresight about what's happening. Otherwise, you can end up wasting an ability or putting yourself in a really awful spot that might end up killing you or your entire party. But don't worry, no, I'm here. I got you back. By the end of this video, the goal is to help you understand more about healing and healer as a role, as well as what to do in dungeons when you are playing the healer. When playing healer, your first weapon of choice is going to be Wand. This provides a lot of healing and shielding potential to your character. The second choice can pretty much be what you want. If you feel like you need more healing, you can go with Bow secondary. If you want a little bit more damage in your kit, you can go with the Staff, which is the mage weapon. If you want to be a little bit more tanky, you can go with the Sword and Shield. I mean, the options are pretty flexible, but as long as you have the Wand, you should be okay most of the time. When you're talking about skills, you're really looking for things that will help buff up your team. It's not that hard to make a skill tree for the healer because everything is pretty much cut and dry. I don't think there's much nuance to a lot of the abilities that you're gonna have. Really just pick what you like and call it a day. I will say you want to make sure that you do have Fountain of Life. This ability is busted, and you also want to make sure that you increase the range because again, this ability is busted. As long as you got that, you're chilling. The rest really just kind of do what you want to do. As I always say in my videos, I'm not a stickler for having the best in slot and the top things and whatnot. I want you to have fun. Pick what you want to pick, but that Fountain of Life ability is pretty crazy. I'm not going to explain my whole hotbar because, you know, it's not that type of video. Again, do what you want to do to have fun, but I can have a brief explanation. So the first 4 set of abilities that I have, they're just, I want to press buttons. I really like just having a lot of buttons to press, and so that's what that set is for. The second set of abilities on my hotbar are targeting players. So these are all the abilities that require a target to use, and then my third slot is all the AoE things, the things I can just press a button and it's just going to happen no matter what. That's pretty much how I set all my hotbars for MMOs. I like to have my things in batches, so just to have that brief explanation for you. At the end of the day, have a good time, have fun, pick what you think is fun, as long as it doesn't negatively impact other players. That is always my rule. First things first, when you get inside of a dungeon and you're getting ready to start playing, is you're going to, oh, we started a dungeon that already was in progress. I didn't expect that. But first thing you want to do is you want to identify your tank. Once you identify your tank, lock on to him. So my tank should be the Sword and Shield, right? So that is my tank right there. Now, what we also could do to make it even easier on us is we can open up the party menu, and what we can do is we can change the order of our tank to make sure that our tank is at the top with us, just like that. So now whenever I need to sift through and find my tank, if I need to swap targets, my tank is always right next to me. So it's very easy to figure that out. I generally do this. Sometimes I'll forget, but it does make it a lot easier when a lot of your party members end up dying. So when you have the person locked on, you don't need to change the target. They're always locked on no matter what. And this is why I have my hotbar set up in that certain way where all my locked on abilities are on the same like 4 ability preset. So that way I know if I need to use an ability on like my tank and he's low, I just kind of walk over, press the button, and still kind of focus on what I want to do, you know? One of the things that you want to focus on when you are playing healer is you don't want to overcommit to just blowing everything. A lot of the times I'll see healers just try to heal everybody and heal everything. You don't really need to heal unless you have to. That's pretty much what you should be thinking about when you're playing a healer. Like right now, as an example, you'll notice a lot of healers just burning through all their mana, like putting shields on and making all the, you know, just doing a lot of crazy stuff. But you don't actually need to do that. Just kind of take it slow and relax. That's pretty much what it is. On some of the more chaotic dungeons, you might actually have to go a little bit nuts. But for the most part, you know, we're just relaxing, we're having a good time. I did not charge that at all. I'm a troll. Now, there are times where your DPS are gonna be very, very low and you're gonna have a tense situation. What you wanna do when like everything's going crazy and it's all going haywire and everybody's getting low, you have a priority list. You wanna start with your tank. If your tank dies, you're most likely going to KO. That's just kind of a good idea. That's not always true, but it's a good thing to follow most of the time. Then you want to make sure that you keep yourself alive, right? Because then you're the next important. If you die as a healer, well, then everybody else dies, right? And then last but not least, the DPS. So you focus on them later. Like I said, a lot of the times healers try to just heal every single person at once, and that's just, it's gonna burn all your mana, and it's unnecessary because you might be overhealing. You don't want to overheal as a healer, no matter what game it is. Ooh, I almost messed up. I almost queued as tank. We would have been goofed. I chose this dungeon just because it's very chill. It's very easy. You kind of get hit with a lot of things as well. Like you get hit with the AoE plants that will destroy your party. You get hit with the mini bosses. Like everything's kind of condensed and very easy to talk about in this type of thing. So you see that things are gonna explode, right? And they get low. Wait, how did he die? I didn't even see that guy's HP bar. Were they just sitting on top of each other? I didn't see that. I would have healed. Generally, when you want to put the healing circle down, you do want to put it down on, oh, that guy is really low. I think he's not blocking. You might run into a situation where players don't block. And what I mean by that is they don't use their hotkey action, basically this, your L1. You see that block? They don't do that. You don't really need to only block the purple things. You can also block the just the regular explosions and stuff like that. There's a little tool tip that doesn't really matter. You see, look, I just blocked that explosion, I'm chilling, right? Whereas that guy, my tank, did not do that, and he is a little low. As I said, you're focusing on healing when you need to. I know there's no reason to heal right now, right? It might seem toxic. It might seem super toxic. It's like, Poppin, you need to heal these guys. Poppin, like, what are you doing? But I'm telling you right now, if you want to make sure that you are not burning through all of your mana, you are gonna need to think about, like, do I need to heal this guy or not? Most of the time, people have their own self-sustainabilities. Most of the time. Oh, I didn't even notice that thing was on me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the healing down and we're gonna sit in it too. It's way easier to put the healing down on someone like already in melee range and then you walk over than making the melee players come near you. And it's pretty much the same, right? Now we have our team getting low. This is when I'm gonna use my stuff. Remember, you don't really need to overheal. This boss does not do a lot of AoE KOs, so you don't need to be afraid. I'm not gonna burn all my heals and switch targets and stuff like that because I know they're not gonna die. But once I get my healing fountain, look, I put that down, all right? We chilling. You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to be scared of everything. We chilling. We gaming right now. One thing you want to keep in mind is that most of your abilities you can't use on yourself, so you have to be very cautious about like overspending and being on cooldown, because once you use your things, it's a donezo. It's a wrap. You got to make sure that you aren't just blowing everything for the sake of blowing everything. Just like that. Now you see how, did somebody else die or that's the same guy? How is this guy dying? That must do a lot of damage. But you see how they were low and I wasn't panicking and I wasn't going crazy and I wasn't burning through everything? It's because it's unnecessary. Once you get better at healing, you'll understand how low people can get, and you'll understand like when you really need to provide that heal. And I do the same thing in Final Fantasy 14. Like a lot of people think I'm about to just burn everything and keep everybody just topped off, full HP. Not when I'm your healer, bro. I will heal you when I need to, otherwise we gaming, you know? Because the cool part about it too is that you can focus on DPS if you're a DPS type of healer. I'm not, I'm more selfless, but I do plan to change my heal build because I don't really need all these heals. But when you're more of a DPS type healer, you can focus on DPS a lot more because you understand when you need to heal somebody versus when you don't. So again, if they get low, don't panic. Just know if they're going to die or not. It's that easy. It's that easy. So we have a fight right here going on. Just a simple tanking boss, right? You'll start to notice, and this is another reason why I chose this boss, because they'll start spawning ads, which are going to aggro your team, and it's the same concept. Don't worry about it. Until they get like low, you don't really need to focus on anything like that. And you just game. Very simple, very easy. There you go. We don't need to burn our Fountain of Life thing yet because it's not necessary. Sometimes if you really feel like you don't want to be aggroed on, you can kind of sit near your tank, and sometimes the tank will like aggro for you. Don't run around if you're being chased. Just run to your tank and he'll take the aggro away from you. I see a lot of healers do that. They'll like run around. Oh my God, I'm being chased. Oh my God, oh my God. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just run to your tank and he'll grab it for you most of the time. He'll even do it on accident. All right, so we have the boss mechanic coming. We need to get up out of here. Dip, juke, reset. There we go. And all is well. Some people like that end up dying. It's unfortunate. It happens. Don't blame yourself. As long as you do what you can do, you're chilling. Remember, the priority list is your tank, then you, then everybody else. So if you find yourself needing to die to heal a DPS, no, that's not how that works. Not in popping often with Lofton's healing. So that was a room-wide AoE because the tank wasn't close enough. As you see, they're all melee, so we're gonna put down that fountain. I don't need to be over there, right? It's perfectly fine for me to chill, relax over here. We don't want to put ourselves in harm's way of getting like cleaved with AoE. Okay? And you see, I'm not really. Look at my mana, guys. Like, I do not burn. I know they won't die. They're chilling. Then I put down my little fountain for you guys. Go nuts. Go nuts. There you go. Like, these guys weren't statted. I promise you. Like, some of them were. I think some of them were a little bit kitted. I'm not gonna lie. But for the most part, these guys were not like massively statted. These guys were pretty even in terms of like the people that were here. They took a lot of damage. They didn't really burst through everything crazily. Some of the mechanics they might have failed. And that's not to say that these guys sucked or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this wasn't a freeload type of dungeon. It wasn't like I didn't have to heal anybody. Most of the time though, I will keep people a little bit more topped off than what you've seen in this video. But for the sake of teaching that I do not overheal, I kind of let it be a little bit lower on purpose because I just play through dungeons a lot and I understand how long someone is going to stay alive and what actually ends up killing people. So at the end of the day, the main takeaway that I want you to have from this video is going to be, of course, have fun, enjoy yourself. That's all that it's about. But don't stress out over healing. Don't stress out on panicking when people get low. It really does not help. And I promise you, once you figure out like how people end up dying, you're not gonna feel like you need to overheal as much and you can save your abilities. A lot of the times healers just end up out of mana, or a lot of the times healers use all the heals and then they're in danger and they have nothing left. So the main takeaway from this video is just manage your abilities a little bit better and really pay attention to what's killing your team. The priority list again goes as follows: your tank, then you, then your DPS. Don't kill yourself for your DPS. If your DPS is low, don't try to like do some magical, crazy way to heal them. Heal them when you're ready. Once you heal them when you're ready, it's better for everyone than like taking attention away from your tank and then trying to heal them and your tank ends up in a low spot. You're low, they're low, everybody's low, especially in really, really hard dungeons like Cursed Wastelands, where at the boss, you need to be on point. Remember, my videos are all about having a good time and enjoying yourself. I'm not a stickler for the best in slot. I'm not a stickler for max stats and going crazy, the best abilities. I don't really care. As long as you enjoy yourself and as long as you have fun and as long as I can alleviate some of that stress from playing healer, then I did a good job in my video, in my opinion. If you're interested in learning how to play tank, that video is up, link in the description below, as well as the end card at the end of this video. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, you know what I always say. If you guys are doing what? Popping often. We'll often.